Time to check in with CoinDesk Global Policy and Regulation Managing Editor, Nick Day. All right, good morning, Nick. So, any new updates on the infrastructure bill?
This morning, a bipartisan group of lawmakers in the House of Representatives introduced a new bill to try and modify the crypto-related provisions in the infrastructure law. It's led by Representative Pat McHenry, who is the ranking member on the House Financial Services Committee, and Congressman Tim Ryan. So both parties are represented in this. It was introduced this morning, and a similar bill seems to have been teased by Senator Cynthia Lummis last night on Twitter.
So, Nick, we have Saule Omarova going in front of Congress today to, as part of the confirmation process. We just heard from Commissioner Contents giving his, let's just say, his diplomatic opinion on the on her stances. How is she going to be received by the Senate, and do we know what her chances are?
So there's definitely a frosty reception to her, especially from at least one of the parties involved in this process. Progressives have hailed the move, while those on the other side of the aisle have pointed to Omarova's views on banks and having the Federal Reserve handle retail banking services rather than having commercial banks do so as an issue for them. I think it's probably too early to say. The questions that are going to be asked today will be really revealing, I think, during this hearing. But whether or not she gets voted out of committee and voted confirmed by the entire Senate, I think that's still an open question.
So, Nick, these attempts to change these controversial provisions in the infrastructure bill, if you had to guess, how likely are they to work? Because these provisions, I don't even see how they would work in practice, like if they stay, right? How likely are they to be changed?
Yeah, I also think it's a bit too early to say. What's interesting to me is that this is a bipartisan effort on both the original provisions and the new bill to modify them. So you don't have the usual party breakdown in terms of Democrats want one thing and Republicans want another. You have Democrats and Republicans both saying, hey, we should change this, as well as who wrote the original bill that was signed into law this week. There is fairly broad bipartisan support for changing the bill, both in the House and the Senate. So that is, I think, a sign in favor of something happening. But whether or not the Congress has time to get through this bill right now, in the weeks that they have left before Christmas vacation, I think that's the one big question right now. They're looking at issues like the National Defense Authorization Act and other major bills that might suck up a bit more of the oxygen than this bill to modify a couple provisions in the infrastructure law could.